we're gonna do a reading vlog, and I'm gonna read, and I'm gonna show you how much I read in a normal work week for me. We're starting on Wednesday, so we're gonna go Wednesday to Wednesday and see how much I read, because people ask me all the time. They're like, Liz, how do you get so much reading done? You work a full-time job and you're a full-time student. And I'm like, yeah, and so we're gonna see how much I can get read in this week. Two updates. Today is Thursday. No, I lied. Today is Friday. And I read probably almost 200 pages yesterday of the Jasad Heir, but I read them at night. And so when I tried to film it, it was just a black screen. So I figured I'd tell you about it this morning. And then on my way to work this morning, I listened to The Road of Bones as my audiobook. I will say, I think the book is really fun. I think it's like different than most books I read. I don't know if I love the book in audio. Because the book is in third person, which doesn't bother me at all. The narrator is kind of using like the same voice for all of the characters, and it goes through different POVs without like naming the POVs, if that makes sense. And so it gets a little confusing of like, you know, who's talking when, especially when we're using our two female main characters. The male character makes, you know, you can distinguish it a little better. But the female characters, it gets kind of complicated. Like, especially if you like zone out for a second and don't listen to who started the chapter, you're like, wait, what? But I'm really liking it. I think the story's fun. I think I'm like 6 hours into it, and it's a 12-hour book, like 12-hour listen. So we're working through that one. Jasad Heir is a reread for me because I got the arc of the Jasad Crown, which comes out in July. So I wanted to reread the Jasad Heir before the Jasad Crown came out, and I'm so excited. Like, rereading this book, it was one of my favorites of either 2024 or 2023, I don't remember. And it's still so good. Like, I still love it. I'm still so excited about it. So I'm so excited to read the Jasad Crown and do a reread, because one thing you'll learn about me is I don't reread, like, ever. I'm not a rereader. I don't, even my favorite books, like, I don't reread them very often. Like, contoured in a weird way. I don't reread very often just because, like, I usually remember books pretty good, and like I get bored rereading because I feel like I know what's gonna happen, so like, what's the point? But this one reminds me of one of my childhood favorite books that I reread all of the time, and I loved it so much. And so I'm so excited. It's finally starting to get really good. If you don't know what the Jasad Crown is about, it or the Jasad Heir. Sorry, that's book 1. It is a duology. It's a fantasy duology with hints of romance, but like not really. It is not a romantasy. It is a fantasy book with a romance subplot for sure. Heir is about our main girl whose chosen name is Sylvia, and she is basically a vigilante on the run, right? So she is living in this village, trying to like remain under the radar, trying not to be seen, because she is one of the last Jasads. And that means like that was a kingdom that had like magic and really powerful magic, and she was the heir to that throne. And so something happened when she was a kid where, you know, they call it, I almost said the blood wedding, like it's fucking Game of Thrones, where all of they invited a bunch of leaders, and then something happened and all of the leaders died, and then all of Jasad, like Jasadi people, were killed basically. And so all of this is going on, and so she escaped, but she was trapped by this woman who was a we don't know a lot about her up until this point, but she was a part of the Jasad, so she has magic herself. And she was captured and trained / tortured, I'm gonna say, by this woman for 5 years before she escaped, and is now living in the village that we meet her in at the beginning of this book. And so we kind of just follow her journey through it. She has these magic cuffs, which she talks about pretty early, on her wrist, that basically make that so she can't use her magic, which is really helpful when she's trying to hide and, you know, not be noticed for having magic, but is really annoying when, you know, she needs it and she needs the magic. And so we kind of just follow her story, and she gets chosen as a champion. I won't tell you how, because, you know, you need to read the book. She gets chosen as a champion in these trials, which we love trials. And the guy who chose her okay. The guy who chose her knows about her magic, but doesn't know who she is, right? Doesn't know, like, her connection to the Jasad crown. And so he's gonna make her his champion. And so we kind of just follow that, and we are about, where I'm at in my book is we are about to enter the, like, we're gonna start the trials. She's in the training period right now, and, you know, trying to do her thing. And it is just so good. Like, I don't know how to explain. Like, this is just one of those books that makes you remember why fantasy is so good, because it's not a romantasy. It's not like, you know, boy meets girl, they fall in love instantly, they have like smutty sex, like whatever. Like, it's not that. And I love that, because, like, yes, I think romantasy has a time and a place. I think it has everything that you need it to be, but sometimes I just don't want that, and I'm in one of those moments. And so yeah, loving it. 10 out of 10. You should absolutely read it. And then I'm gonna hopefully start, my hope is to finish it this weekend. I'm 40% in, I just checked. I'm 40% in. I'm hoping to finish it this weekend, and then we will start the Jasad crown this weekend. Oh, that is really bright. I did not mean for this to be that bright. You may be asking yourself, Liz, you did your makeup at home yesterday. Why are you doing it in your car today? And you know what a great question that you asked me? On Fridays, I take Luna to daycare, and so I have to leave the house just a little bit earlier so I can get to daycare, and then, like, so she's there on time and gets her full day. And so instead of trying to get all of my stuff ready earlier, like waking up earlier on Fridays and trying to get ready, I will sometimes just like bring my makeup and do my makeup in my car, because I'm going to sit in my car and listen to my audiobook for an hour anyways when I get here at 7, and I don't go in until 8. So I'll just do my makeup and do that kind of stuff. So I am now ready. As you can tell, I'm going to go into work, and I have a pretty easy day, but a late night. Like I have to work late tonight. And then we can do a weekend full of reading, which will be so fun. Good morning, y'all. Happy Monday. It is another work day. I pretty much forgot to vlog all weekend, but I didn't do much reading anyways, so I guess it's fine. I don't know. But we are gonna make ourselves a matcha, and we are gonna get ready for work, and I will be listening to my audiobook while I do that. My audiobook is getting really good. I don't know. I can't decide how I feel about it, if I'm going to be super honest, but I think it's good. I think so. All right, everyone, happy Tuesday. I have actually, so this is so funny. I have not done hardly any reading at all this week, because I picked probably the busiest week of my life to try to do a reading vlog of what I read in a week. So I guess it's super realistic, right? Because I'm not, usually I can read like 50 to 100 pages per day. Like that's just not happening this week. Cause I got home last night we watched some baseball last night, and I got home, went to bed. Usually when I go to bed, I read like, I don't know, for a couple hours, and I immediately fell asleep. I was like dead asleep. And I was like, no, this was my reading time. So I didn't get much with last night. I'm still listening to The Road of Bones. It is a long audiobook, but we just had a really cool thing happen. So I'm hoping the pace picks up a little bit. At this moment, unless it gets like exponentially better, I'm gonna probably only give it a 3 stars. And I don't know if I'm gonna read book 2, but it's been good. It's just like kind of boring, you know? Like it's just not, maybe I'm just not into Vikings like I thought I was. I don't know. I'm just not super invested in it. But I can see that it's like about to start picking up, so we'll see how that goes. And I should hopefully finish the Jasad Heir in the next day or 2. I'm about 60% of the way in. It's so good. It's so good. I don't know how to, it's so good. So the trials are about to start, and our main girl is about to go kick some ass, and it's going to be really great. It's going to be a lot of fun. So that's kind of that. I have a couple late night events tonight and tomorrow, and I have class tomorrow, so I probably won't get a whole lot of reading done. But other than that, we should be set up for a good day. I have not made any content this week or last week because life has just been so crazy busy, so I need to get better about being more consistent on that front and finding a way to like balance my busy schedule with creating content or just looking at the ceiling. So doing that, what else are we up to? But good news is, after this week, my summer starts, and so I get to like really, I work at a university, which means that I work year round, but it's a little less busy when the students are gone in the summer, so I'll like have a little more free time. I'm hoping to kind of spend my summer like really hitting the ground with my content and with reading and like all of that good stuff. My wife coaches softball, so I will spend my weekends at softball and baseball tournaments. and hopefully reading, because I like to take pictures of those events as well. Like, I love to take sports photography, but there's a lot of downtime, so I'll probably do a bunch of reading in between, as well as this summer I start writing my dissertation, and so I will like really hit the ground running on my dissertation this summer, hopefully, for my EDD program, which is an educational doctorate. So I don't know how much reading we're going to get done in the next couple of years, but I'm going to still try to do it. I'm going to read as much as I can, because like reading is what keeps me sane in the middle of all of my dissertation writing. So I'm excited about that. And so you may get some more content, especially like on YouTube, about the dissertation writing process and about like how I'm doing, because I've learned that like when I'm doing vlogs or when I'm working on like things like this, I am way more motivated to like actually do it. And so I may just do some vlogs of like just like dissertation writing and like homework and like that kind of stuff. So hopefully I can get it done faster. And I don't know if y'all would be interested in that kind of content, but like that's what I've got, because I like to make content about what I do in my life. So yeah, that's been my week. It's been a really crazy week, but I'm excited. I may check in one more time. I don't think I'll check in probably tomorrow, since I will be busy all day long. So I may do one more check-in, but I may not. Well, okay. Let me think. So this is going to be my last check-in, unless I do some more like B-roll of me reading later today or throughout the day. So thank you so much for joining me on this week of realistic reading of somebody who works a 8 to 5, and I hope to see you next week. I will hopefully do another video, another episode, because this was really fun. I kind of really showed me like how much I actually do read, especially during like a busy week. But yeah, it was super realistic week of reading. I didn't finish any books, but I'm reading 2 really long ones, so I guess that makes sense. And please like, subscribe, send your friends, follow me on all of the other socials. And I hope you have a lovely day, and I hope your day is as beautiful as you are. Mwah. Bye. Good morning. Happy Thursday. So it turns out that I'm a liar. And what I mean by that is, so yesterday I was in the car, like on my way to work, right? And I was like, I'm not going to finish any books today. I'm just going to leave it here. You know, yada, yada, yada. You all watched it. It literally was the last clip. Turns out I was wrong. I finished 2 books. I finished both of the books that I was reading. I finished Road of Bones, and I finished the Jasad Heir. So yeah. Let's do quick reviews for both of those. For the Jasad Heir, I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars, again, because it was a reread and it was one of my favorite books of last year, and it still is. It was just as good as when I read it the first time. There was a lot of pieces that I had forgot, so I'm really glad that I reread it, and I'm so excited to jump into my arc of the Jasad Crown. So I just started that last night. After I finished this Jasad Heir, I just read like a chapter to kind of get myself into it, and so I'm super excited to continue reading that. But so that's that one. Road of Bones. I put this in my review when I wrote it, but I think that I would have liked it better if I had read it. Like, I have the physical copy of it. I think I would have liked it better if I had read it, like actually read the words instead of listened to the audiobook, because I don't know, I just didn't really love the audiobook. I think it was kind of confusing being like when they taught, like when she was talking about different characters, because she didn't really, the audiobook narrator didn't necessarily change her inflection for a lot of the characters. The audiobook narrator didn't really change her inflection for a lot of the for like the characters, which is fine. But like, if you zone out for a minute and you come back in and you're like, oh, whoa, I don't know whose POV we're in, and it's not like the chapters were named like Scylla or, you know, whatever the other characters were. So the story was fun. It did end up picking up towards the end. I don't know if I'm going to pick up the second book, but I may like forget and, you know, pick it up. But it was fun. I think I gave it a 3.75 stars out of 5 for The Road of Bones. And that is what I realistically read this week. I am starting next. I just started Bourbon and Lies for my audiobook. It's a duet narration, so I'm really excited about that. And I started the Jasad Crown. So we are going to jump right back into those for the vlog for next week. Thank you for joining me for episode 1 of what I read in a realistic, crazy, super busy week, apparently. And who works as someone who works an 8 to 5. So I'm going to go get dressed for work, and I'll see you in the next one.